the Normal Heights Community Planning Group. It's not up to your expectations, and we can find you another meeting. I'll open today's reflection. As the Normal Heights Planning Group envisions a healthy, vibrant community that honors unceded Kumeyaay land and cares for all inhabitants. We prioritize inclusive and equitable land use, valuing people over commodification through pedestrian-friendly infrastructure, transit-oriented development, open space preservation, and affordable housing. We strive for a vibrant and sustainable neighborhood. Additionally, we promote responsible economic development that supports historic preservation, local businesses, fosters job opportunities, and enhances the overall economic vitality of Normal Heights. We'll do a quick round of introductions. Today, your name, if you have a board seat, like on the chair. Hi, Paul Coogan, I'm the chair. My favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla, especially if it has some sort of fruit poured over the top.
Am I supposed to say what my favorite ice cream?
Favorite ice cream flavor.
Oh, okay. Francis Pritchett, I'm the treasurer. I think it's one of the leadership.
Hi, Emily Caldwell. I'll go cookies and cream.
Alan Bartolo, vice chair, and black licorice.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Jim Barros, president. Oops.
Yeah, I think you have to mute yours.
Yeah, I like the power. I'm a resident and my favorite flavor is Jamocha almond fudge.
And same for
My favorite ice cream is chunky monkey.
Chunky monkey, that's good.
Sí, pero estoy así muy... And we'll just have to give that quick update.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Hi, I can see the screen, but I can't hear anything.
There we go.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I'll turn it over to you, and I will make you co-host. Present.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm from Council Office District 9. I just have a few updates. So the first one is that the budget process will be picking up soon. The mayor will drop his first draft of the budget on April 12th, and department hearings will be occurring May 1st through the 7th. Our office is going to be hosting budget forums in early May, so stay tuned because we're going to be announcing the dates soon. You can also check out updates on our website, and I can link that in the description. Any questions about the budget process or forum?
Sure, from the room first. Anyone have questions about the budget forums? Board? My question is, where are the forums usually held, if you know?
So I believed they can be held in person or virtually, but I can double check that information and get back to you.
Okay, yeah, if you give me the locations and times, I can publicize that.
Of course, and I'm also going to put the link in the chat as well, so you can stay up to date through our website.
Okay.
Okay.
Because Sarah needs to leave early, does anyone have any questions or comments for D9 representation? Yes, Jim?
Now, it occurs to me that some of our neighbors in the community aren't very adept or able to participate teleconferencing. I would prefer and recommend that there be an in-person meeting, so. Working.
That was
I'm
a
not-
request for in-person meetings on the budget forum, as some people are not adept at the teleconferencing.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely let the team know. Is there anything else? Any other questions?
No, thank you.
I actually just have a couple more updates. I also wanted to let you know that the transportation department will be in District 9 in Normal Heights to service streetlights in June and July. It was pushed from February and March because of the recent floods. But if you are aware of any damaged streetlights, please report it on Get It Done and send it to me. And then my last update is something I've shared with you all before, but it's our Safe Streets survey. So as you know, our office is dedicated to having clean, safe, and healthy communities for all. And we're currently working on policy changes that will address some of these safety concerns. So if you can please take the survey and share it with your neighbors as well, that would be really great. I can put the link in the chat and you can share it out. Any other
So
questions
thank
about
you.
that?
We'll be sure to include that link in our minutes as well.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Next up is the approval of the meeting minutes for March sent out via email. Do we have a motion to approve? Francis makes a motion to approve the minutes. Seconded. And to a vote for approval. Abstain?
Yeah, I don't know if I got it. So.
Okay, that's fine. So we have
2 extensions.
2 abstentions. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That was Sammy and,
No,
Jim.
Yeah.
Who did the second?
Can I make a one minor modification? My name was just spelled incorrectly. So,
Again?
and it's wrong on the PowerPoint too. So, yeah, it'd be great.
Yep, and it's, give me the spelling, I'm gonna write it down right here.
E-M-I-L-I-E. And my last name is C-O-L.
2 L's, got it. Okay, thank you. Next up, treasurer's report. For Francis, same amount of money.
Oh, yes, yeah. $332.
300,
332,
332.
46.
We might have to talk about some fundraisers. Because the city funds, I'm not sure when they come in,
How much do we get from them?
500 annual. Maybe,
You're talking about some butterfly contracts.
oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's move on to non-agenda public comment, 2 minutes per person. Jim?
Scott won't be here today. Adams Avenue Business Association meeting this morning, there was an item that we should be aware of because it's related. We have that the city's entering into a process of evaluating and surveying the community about parking meters on Adams Avenue. might be interested in that. It's probably a 2-year process, and as they move along, we may. Another piece is the San Diego Village is having a bicycle swap meet on April 28th, which is that Sunday of the month. And it's a great way to buy and sell used bicycle equipment. And that's it.
Thank you. Anyone else for, yes,
Just my comment is, I quit getting my agenda and my email.
oh,
Can
okay,
that be rectified? I get, North Park and Kensington, but not the district I live in.
okay. Yeah, we currently do a sort of newsletter blast beforehand.
Well, you know, the city says 3 days ahead, so that would be like Friday.
Yeah, our requirement is to post publicly, which is the door here. And that's the only requirement we have, but if you're saying I'd like to have the full agenda in email, we can do that.
Well, you used to do it,
Then,
and you know, I would say, yeah, that's fine, but I've been a part of this, resident of this area for 20 years, and getting the agenda, which is required, and information in general from this planning group has been difficult. So, you know, please,
yeah, let's
why do we have to make this a thing?
fix that.
That's my question. Why is that a thing?
I think in the transition from Jim, I probably lost that.
Yeah, that's kind of the excuse that Jim gave me when I wrote it down.
This is GWH Harrison. All right, is that correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Gmail, right?
Let's try lowercase a. Look, do you have a,
Where's the A?
please don't rope it up me, I don't really like it.
I'm just trying to make sure I
Wait,
can read
okay.
this so that we can get it accurately.
Is there an address that I could send it to you in a way that you can understand?
yes, please
Because
send,
I'm elderly, I've got a tremor.
He said yes.
send it
Could
to
I have that, please?
You could just write it on here if you want.
chair. I'll write it right on there. It's chair@normalheightscpg.org.
Yeah, 20 years ago, the tremor wasn't so bad and I still couldn't get it. So, you know, excuse my cynicism. I'm 20 years older now,
I
and
understand.
I didn't believe it then.
Forward. There we go. Right, thank you for bringing that to our attention to make sure that. You'll get full.
I'll hold your piece of the file.
Yes. Anyone else? Public comment, okay. Digital communication monitoring from next door, Facebook, email, did receive, an email through the website address, actually, of someone that was interested in being on board, so, sent them the application forms and forwarded them to the nomination committee. Next up. We'll go back to. So a poll was taken in the community, and this was done by Normal Heights for Smart Growth. They put together the questions and then publicized it mostly on Facebook in email, and then got the results back and created some analysis. So that's what I'll present right now. So the first slide is, you identify as part of a traditionally underserved group, roughly 50% no, and a quarter declined to answer and a quarter were yes. And when we say underserved group, that's very broadly defined. So that would include LGBTQ and Hispanic, Black, so on. How important do you think it is to prioritize affordable housing in Normal Heights. And this is pretty heavily weighted towards being important.
Are you sharing the screen?
Yes. Is it delayed?
I'm not getting it here, but that's okay, I can see it there. I'm just wondering if people online can see it.
Yeah, maybe someone in the chat could say, or if they're seeing it. Which areas of Normal Heights would benefit most from smart growth initiatives? And these are things about, just to catch you up on smart growth is basically building denser cities, but doing it in a balanced manner so that you have transportation and infrastructure and parks and green space and sense of place. It's a multi-dimensional program. It's a national program. If you go to smartgrowth.org or you look it up on the EPA site, there's a lot of information about it. But it looks like the Adams Avenue corridor and the El Cajon corridor were of most interest, and then south of Adams. This one's a little bit hard to read across the bottom, so I will read the key across the bottom going from left to right. Is these are different areas of smart growth that are, and what are the priorities? People are given a weighted choice. They could do a ranked choice on this. So increased density, then energy efficient building, mixed use development, transit oriented development, affordable housing options for all. And then in the center, the blue in the center is preservation of history, culture. And then we move into the two green bars, which is increased parks, trails, urban trees, preservation of open spaces. And then in the blue section, the last four bars are access to education services, bicycle infrastructure, traffic calming, and then walkability. And the last option there is other specified. That was just a free-form box. So it looks like walkability is very important to us. We're already a pretty walkable neighborhood. And that really goes hand in hand with the green space and the urban forest. It gets difficult to do to call the neighborhood walkability when the temperature gets too high. How long have you lived in Normal Heights? No surprise. People have lived here a long time. I can't believe that I'm more than 10 years now. This one is a question asking, what challenges or barriers do you see? The lack of tax revenues hinders implementation of smart growth measures. Concerns about market rate housing dominate development. Calls for improved public transportation infrastructure and services, and frustration with lack of government transparency and responsiveness to community needs. These four bullet items were basically a conglomerate of all of the comments. So by looking at keywords and boiling down those phrases, we're able to get to these four bullets. The full poll results will be available. This one's a little bit dense here, so I'll read it. Are there specific success stories or examples from other cities? Successful strategies in places like Singapore, Australia, Europe, Hong Kong, Canada, New York City, and Amsterdam. Emphasis on transit-oriented development walkability, suggesting major transit stops in the center of neighborhoods, allowing small corner stores in residential zones, and connecting buildings to create pedestrian-friendly spaces. Recognition of the importance of open lines of communication and community input in successful smart growth initiatives, highlighted by opposition to certain legislative proposals and involvement in planning commission meetings. Concerns about preserving the unique character of Normal Heights and avoiding the negative impacts of overdevelopment, citing past experiences in other neighborhoods like Hillcrest. At this point, we will move to our election.
Hey,
Yes.
could I ask a question about the methodology? I mean, how many respondents did you get? And which of the 4 city divided sections of Normal Heights did they come from? Are they mostly above Adams? Or were they Cherokee Point or West or?
Sure. Because it was, your first question was 142, I believe was the number of respondents
Out of how many residents?
out of.
You don't have to answer.
We have, um, we have 1,200, is that right? What's the population in Normal Heights?
I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Oh,
I have to look it up.
yeah,
It's about 17,000.
17,000, okay.
More
So
than
we-
1,200?
So we're looking at a very small, very small sample set.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
You know, it just raises questions of validity.
Sure. In answer to your second question, in terms of geographic distribution.
It's all right, my question.
Oh, okay, yes,
Where will the results be? This is a good detail, maybe they're not. Yeah, but it would be nice to get.
we'll put the data on the website. It's all in, it's all in one spreadsheet, our website.
Okay.
Along with this presentation, which has the slides for the analysis. For the election, anyone attending the current meeting and one meeting in the past 12 months may be voted into an open seat at this meeting. The candidate must be 18 years or older and must be a resident or own property or a business in the bounds of Normal Heights. Terms are for 2 years with a general election in March. We're actually a month late on this. The total board seats is 15. And the public vote is by secret ballot. And voters must be basically the same criteria as a candidate who's 18 years or older and be a resident or own property or business in the bounds of Normal Heights and be physically present at this meeting. We're hoping to expand elections to like Zoom participants because we do run hybrid meetings, but we have not figured that out yet. The seats for re-election and in this election and the open seats are for Paul Coogan, Alan Parjala, Dan Soderberg, Emily Colwell, got the name spelled right there,
I think that, but yeah.
Sammy Burrows, and then we have 5 open seats with 1 and 2 year terms, depending on which seat it is. Yeah, you wanna, this is, these are randomized. As far as pins go.
Yeah, you piqued my interest. I've been a member in the past.
Okay,
And there's 5 open seats,
yeah,
just for the sake of not getting the board decertified. North Park is like running scared. That
okay.
they're gonna be rolled into another board.
Or
Are we in any danger of that?
I have not heard that.
North Park is, and a lot more people are.
I think, in my own opinion, North Park is a little more contentious, like Uptown is in terms of development. Normal Heights seems to be fairly sleepy when it comes to the city's agendas.
Yeah. With what? City what?
With city agendas,
Yeah.
we're kind
Yeah,
of, we're generally overwhelmed.
And what I'm trying to say is that I will volunteer for a 1 year if you do that.
Well, thank you.
So we're voting for 5?
We're voting for, the slate of 5 plus, I believe, was there anyone else that was running? Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Was there anybody else, would like to be on the board and has attended in the last 12 months and submitted a form? Okay,
Oh, do I need to submit a form? You said that if they were here. Oh, if there's a form, I could certainly fill it out.
yeah, we could,
With the pen, it's in my car.
we got a pen.
If,
So I think,
I'm sorry, can't, having trouble unmuting.
gotcha.
Do you have them?
We do. I don't have a printer.
Great. Some folks might. If we're anticipating adding someone to the slate of potential elected members of the board, and that person is not on the board and not continuing, I would like to have them have an opportunity to speak to the board, so we know who or what they're about.
Okay.
Stevie and Andrew.
I think we need to, we don't have to bring you in at this meeting because they're open seats. So my advice is,
Well, I'm not prepared anyway.
yeah, okay. So
I didn't know
let's
there was
get,
an election.
let's get you the application form. And then because they're open seats, we can vote the open seats at any of the meetings that we have throughout the
You
year.
mean later,
Yeah,
then, so I can't stand for election at this time.
I would believe, no.
So you're just making this up as you go.
Well, I'm new to this.
Sorry, I did well.
You never been to a public meeting before, have you?
Probably never will be again.
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Harris is probably correct that we can take nominations from the floor. But I would like to remind the group that Mr. Harrison was forced off the board by the city of San Diego
No,
previously.
that's not true. I
For
was
his
giving,
behavior, he was dropped from this board previously.
Thank you.
So if we're making decisions about who can be nominated, I think anyone who's a resident of the neighborhood and has attended enough previous meetings should be added to the nominating list and subject to being voted for. But we should be able to have information about those persons. And that's why I provide information about Mr. Harris.
thank you. I welcome your slander.
Then in that case, you can nominate yourself. And you would need 2 votes or more to occupy seat.
Is that true?
Yes,
All right,
it's in the bylaws.
I have a set of bylaws at home. I'll look at it.
Anyone else? I assume no one else.
I have a set here if you'd like to look at them.
I guess I didn't know that there wasn't a pre-requirement to submit, so if anybody is planning to run, I would want opportunity to hear that they would like to run for open seats. But it sounds like no one's. But I was just checking. That's all.
Yeah, I was expecting 1 or 2 people,
Okay, I just wanted to
but
make sure. we
I don't
weren't
think they
missing
made it. Yeah,
So you're expecting 1 or 2, just not me.
if they were here, they already have filled out applications and then talked to the nominating committee, so we know who they are. This is kind of a surprise to us because you just showed up here today. No problem with that. We're just kind of figuring out how that applies, how to apply the bylaws to the current situation. So, so like I said, sounds like you want to nominate yourself?
Yes, I guess volunteer and nominate.
Okay,
I would like to be nominated.
then,
My previous record has been spoken for. I was impeached by a vote of the board for asking too many questions.
Sure.
I have a recording of it. Jim, I think you do too. I think you were recording.
Is there anything you would like to say to our voting population? Why you would like to be on board? What's important about the community to you?
It's the incredible lack of diversity of ideas that you have. That for the most part, it's the rope-a-dope that go along. And I can see why you would have 5 open seats, because your exclusion of any ideas that conflict with, your city agenda. There's other people in the neighborhood who have different ideas. Now, you can exclude me and exclude my ideas, or you can include me and listen to my part of the discussion. Even though I was accused of being violent, frisky, I think was the word we used in the email to the city asking the.
Let's just keep the directed at the word.
Well,
Well,
didn't he address me?
no, yes, I've asked you to address.
Oh, I was, but somebody asked for more.
So
I thought for the most part, it's like, no, we had it.
you have the floor. Okay.
I'm, this is kind of part of the problem is it would take a lot less time if I were not interrupted nearly as much. My ideas are pretty succinct.
Sure, we'll attempt to keep order.
I just frankly say, am I excluded from the board? Or are you going to let me be, stand for election? Are you going to set up that there's a minimum required votes?
At this point, you are now on the slate of electors. You're on the slate of candidates. For the room, we will use the write-in, and then let me get your name correctly.
Arthur would do Harrison
Arthur Harrison.
with a name.
Okay, so there is a checkbox at the bottom. We'll use that one.
You said that your ideas could be expressed very distinctly. Could you sort of give a very brief, what are your ideas that you think would like?
Well, quite honestly, why I came and this is just the essence of my activity and my interest in the board is the lack of street sweeping. This is a basic sanitation thing, and I mean, street sweeping. Clean city streets.
Yes, I remember.
Succinct. There you go.
Do you not have the trucks don't come down your street? That's probably right.
Do we have time for this?
Give a minute.
Find out a little more.
No, it's been a 20-year reduction. But currently my street is swept on the odd month, the third Thursday of the odd month. And there's no street signs to inform my neighbors. In the past, the city has provided street signs. However, sometimes people steal them. And in the past, they've replaced them. However, this year, the city has discontinued that. Okay, I still have a couple left. I put them in front of my property. The last month was the third month. And on the third Thursday of the odd month, my street did not get swept, even though I spoke to Dan, his name is, and he said, yeah, they're still out there, give them a chance. Did not get swept. So for me, no, they do a very, very poor job. And I mean, I live on a dirt road. There's an unpaved alley that has the heavy 10-ton trash trucks come out. It's been raining. Those dual sets of dual tires just glom onto the mud. It comes out into the alley twice a year. The city has to plow that. So no, it's a very, very poor function. Basically, this is my the bone that I chew on
Okay,
for 20 years.
good to know. Thank you. I think at this point, is everyone?
I
Yes,
have a question. I see that there's a name on the ballot that is not in the thing. No, I mean,
yes, Jacob Poofman is not on the board, so it's not on the reelection list that's shown here. It
okay,
would be a new candidate.
okay.
Do you have any questions for him?
You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My
Yeah.
name's Jake. I live on 35th in Monroe for a few years now. I also own and operate a handyman business here in the neighborhood and pretty much all of San Diego. I'm running to get involved with my community at a more intimate level to represent hundreds of clients I speak with on a weekly basis who don't hesitate to talk about the issues in the neighborhood with me. I'd like to represent a more diverse crowd here to be on the board.
Thank you.
What type of issues are you particularly concerned about?
Myself and my neighbors and clients that I speak with are most concerned with increased density happening with the lack of infrastructure. They're also equally probably concerned with crime, property theft. But the main conversations we're having are about land use.
Yes, on the Zoom call, is there someone who wants to speak? Yes, is that Natalie? All right,
I got
if someone,
a clarification, I've got a ballot in front of me. I can vote for as many as I want, or is there a limit?
as many as you like.
And if we want to have Mr. Harrison, we could write, his name,
Yes,
right? Right.
so we have a writing.
What's the requirement? Are initials enough? Or does it have to be my full name?
Don't put any identifying marks on the paper. It's just a vote.
No, he needs, for the writing.
If somebody wishes to write in my name, what is required?
The initials, Arthur, anything. We won't go through the Chads like in Florida.
Well, Donna Fry was like thrown off because they misspelled Fry at the end.
No,
So 20 years ago, they go, no, I should get elected even though.
no, it's a friendly community here.
Okay.
And everyone is great. Like, you think you'd be voting, do they even know anything about this?
Parker was gonna do the. Yeah. Alex, would you mind doing the vote count?
Sure.
Who gets the ballot? Alex is gonna do the vote count for us.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like elephant.
Here's, piracy. All right, yeah, that works. Thank you. You know, while the vote is being counted, I think I'll go around the room for, can I just, actually, let me get a comment. Let me get a comment from the public for, goals, because I know Arthur had mentioned that, diversity was very important. If anyone has, goals that they would like for this group to focus on in the coming year? Please raise your hand and speak, and same for in the Zoom.
What was the question? Sorry.
Goals for this board in the coming year, because as we saw in the survey, there was a lot of things like tree cover, streets, infrastructure, traffic safety, density. There's so many things. It's hard for one body to say, here's what we're really going to focus on. So if anyone has an idea of what we should be focusing on, we'd like to hear that, because as part of our first activities as a new board, we'll be looking at setting goals.
I don't mean to monopolize, but I have a CPI, project that just is screaming to be done. We call it Lake Monroe. Every time it rains at 32nd Street in Monroe, there's like a huge puddle there. And it's been repaired many times, and even the water mains have been repaired. And I mean, that is just screaming for a drain. The freeway's right there. It's not 100 yards.
Okay, I'll put you down. Streets and sewers would be a focus for our next, yeah, okay.
But I mean, you know, for a specific capital improvement project.
Sure. Monroe at 32nd. Yes.
Hi, my name is Julie. I agree that diversifying these poll results would be fantastic. So I'm curious about like starting some initiatives to actually get some more diverse results. If we have such a small election, like a small political pool for the polls, I think that we can get creative for how we're getting people involved in taking these risks. There's a lot of businesses that often do community engagement things, so I think that a lot of people that can be reached out to hopefully get more people involved in answering these surveys to get a wider range of questions.
Increasing diversity and improving our survey. The city is also doing some surveys in the community. They are online as well. So to really get true poll results, you kind of need pollsters going door to door, or postcard campaign, those kinds of things. They're a little more expensive than just putting up a web page and sending out the emails. But I'd love to have your ideas.
Are we?
Yes.
I would add.
Anything specific?
I think you and I have already.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
There's one to say something else, but I'm gonna agree with you, Ken, the fixation with palm trees, which absolutely are worth totally. What on ours, the North Mountain View this week, we had 2 crews there trimming palm trees for the whole 2 weeks. And some of these trees are over 100 feet tall. They have no use for green or woolly or anything. And why they're not gone, and the regional trees put in to do more for the atmosphere. But my other point is going to be common sense.
That's a good one. The good news on the palm trees is that they are not on the list of city approved trees. They've moved to more natives, although I think there are still non-natives on the official tree list.
Yeah. But they're still maintaining these things that
Yeah,
then it would be cheaper to take them out and get them bought.
Yes, Jeff.
Someone online has I'm gonna read what they wrote in the chat.
Okay.
Keep holding their city accountable for smart growth and not changing the rules based on the highest bidder. For example, the millions of land inside of the project, not close enough to a big transit center in parentheses. We all have to follow the rules and the city should too. And personally, I'd like to see it as prioritizing the further and complete development of Lord Canyon Park.
Lord Canyon Park.
Yep.
Okay.
Just to go back to the trees for a minute.
Yeah.
Just want to say for the person, you know, but 3 trees were taken down on my block. When I was teaching. 2 of them were taken down. And there's no plan to replace these or there are city trees in the park district.
Okay.
And they were, 2 of them were taken to the company and they were inside of the company. But still, I don't know if there's any plan to replace those trees. The 3 left trees on one block. I think the trees are very, very important. So,
Okay. Yes, John.
And I understand, it, I may be completely wrong, because I didn't research it, but if the city takes out a tree, you cannot plant a tree to replace it unless you get a permit and they approve it. It's in the park.
You might be right.
But you can plant trees that are not. You're not allowed.
I think that's, we're getting into the details of the right of way. And who gets to do what in that space. And it gets pretty complex.
That's EG and that's no right to your park.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the key and this is a big motivation for me is just to more public outreach, more education, getting more of our neighborhoods involved in our planning, in this planning group. Just outreach in general, getting more people involved.
Agreed. Without numbers, we have nothing.
We can do education.
Yes.
So, Paul, I think you've heard of me. I'm Joe Perry. I've lived here for over 20 years. This was a nice neighborhood 10 years ago. Crime has doubled. I can't walk down my street or down Adams Avenue without pepper spray in my pocket. I live behind where that 7-story monstrosity is going to be going up. When I call the police non-emergency number, nobody shows up until the next day or day 2. What can we do about this? I mean, seriously, 10 years ago, this was a wonderful neighborhood. And I'm just getting tired of all the homeless, the mentally ill, the crime, people being assaulted in this neighborhood. Again, this is my first time here in over 20 years, so maybe I'm not lying, I don't know how it works. But I did want to just mention that.
So thank you, because this body is an advisory channel to the city, so we are an acknowledged communication channel. How much they listen to us really depends on how open they are and how many people are involved. So thank you for being here.
All right, I'm double counting because it's so close.
Not double counting, double check.
For double checking, sorry. Now I'm triple checking because there's the wrong number.
The randomization is helping you.
Yeah.
Invest in a convenient. Speaking of voting, why can't the senior citizen disabled vote from the computer instead of having to come down here to vote?
exactly. The only reason is that we're not able to figure out the technology and how to do that, before the meeting, because there are qualifications to vote, being over 18, and it's a secret ballot. But then you don't want anybody double voting as well. So that complexity, we should talk to the meeting. Like, it's something that we would like to do. It is something we'd like to do.
This is the first year we've had telecommuting.
Okay.
It's kind of new to the city council as well. And around that rules about community spending requires us members, for instance, to be here in order to participate and vote. And our bylaws say be present. We're trying to catch up.
Okay, I have the results. Paul, 17, Emily, 16, Jacob, 16, Dan, 14, Alan, 14, Sammy, 15, Arthur, 1. Arthur, I would encourage you to lobby and join us. I think
I'm here.
I think as a walk-in, I'm not surprised.
I was here 2 months ago.
Oh, yes, I remember you're discussing the alleys. But yeah, bring some support and join us, please.
I can't get anybody to come. 20 years ago, I brought my wife and she came to one meeting,
I know the feeling.
you know. And, I'm just saying that we had 2 people speak against me. And the first meeting I came to, there was someone who said, we don't want you here 20 years ago. And I see their attitudes haven't changed. So, you know, it's.
Mr. Harrison,
We will,
and maybe I like.
Are you addressing the board because Robert's rules of order?
I want to, I do want to call order. At this point, Jacob, you're on the board. You're voted. There's a second chair.
I followed Jacob on and then you went out here.
And I'll get with you and the city on Brown Act training.
I got the ones.
You did do that.
Starting this month.
Oh, great. Okay. Whenever you're done, let me know and I'll pass it on to Natalie. At this point, we need to elect officers. And this is an election by the board members to elect the chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. At this point, you do not have a secretary. So I guess we have to do a nomination first, right? Okay, is there a nomination for chair?
I'd like to nominate Paul.
I'll say it.
How many seconds? Is there a nomination for anyone else? Put it to a vote.
You're in, buddy. Pays the same.
Okay, and I will abstain. Although you are allowed to vote for yourself, but I prefer to abstain. For vice chair, we have a nomination.
You're correct.
Alan is currently the vice chair.
You want to continue?
No, I'll bring that on the meeting.
Sorry.
No, that's fine to do it all.
Okay. You did a fine job while I was out of town, so. I'll bring it to a vote. In favor? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have the vote recorded? Let's see, we have, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, any abstains? 1, and any nays? Oh, two abstains. And then nays. So that passes. Welcome. And for our secretary, we currently do not have a secretary. Do we have any nominations?
I'd like to notify a new member to the right.
Position entail.
Taking meeting minutes.
And typing them up and recording them to the chair.
Yeah,
Agenda.
at this point, I've been doing the agenda. And then I'll usually, pass it to the board for approval and modification. And then it goes out. So it's really, the minutes. And then we also have the Zoom recording, and Zoom transcript. So those back you up in terms of if you miss something, you can play back the tape.
And I'd be glad to provide training.
I just want to participate. That just says the seat, student member, okay, first month of it.
Fair enough. Do we have any other nominations? I would like to nominate Sammy. You need to put down. Don't look confused or amazed.
I'll second the nomination.
You accept the nomination?
I guess I haven't like read minutes enough, but if I'm just transcribing things, I can type really fast. It'll be fine.
Okay, and it's not a word for word transcript because we have the Zoom recording. If somebody wants to go word for word, it's about the vote count and attendance. Okay, then get a vote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Any abstentions? One abstention. And any nays? 0. Thank you. Treasurer, we have a nomination for treasurer.
Nominate.
Okay, you accept?
I accept.
And vote? Looks like we're at 9 plus 1 abstention. Okay. Next up is the Mid-City Community Plan update presented by Alex Frost. And I think you had a flash drive for me. What's the,
Excuse me, I have a question.
that one? Okay.
Is there anybody
Is there anybody?
on Zoom?
Yes, we have 8 participants on Zoom.
Who are?
We usually don't.
Is anybody from the city or the police department or planning on Zoom?
Natalie is our representative to the city. And Chris Grist represents Chris Ward's office. And then Senator Atkins is also on the line for her representative.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Private citizen.
Oh, I think of private citizens is really only 3. Because one is me and one's Jim. They have 3 citizens and 2 in participants.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I go to other meetings and that's usually pretty clear
Okay,
who's there.
right. I think this is sharing out, right? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
how do I turn this on? I can click for you.
Oh, okay.
Here. Actually, let me stop sharing so you can introduce yourself. Fine, there we go.
Good evening, everyone. Alex Frost, I work for our city planning department with City of San Diego. I'm a project manager for the Miss City Communities Plan. So that's my good. Okay. And today I'm just, I'll be sharing just recent activities and upcoming activities. I came to this group last November, provided an initial plan overview of the plan update process. So we can go to next. Yeah, so quick introduction and then recent upcoming engagement activities and wanted to share some of the technical studies we'll be doing as part of the plan update and some of the next steps, you know, how to stay engaged and informed and to participate. Next. So it's a 5-step process. We're at phase 1. We just launched this initiative this winter. So between winter and summer of this year is gathering community ideas from people that live and work in this city about how to improve community. And phase 2 is community validation, collecting input on early options based on community feedback and technical analysis. Phase 3, so by phase 3, fall of 2025, we plan to have a first draft of the updated community plan, followed by a second draft and the EIR. And phase 5 is adoption hearing process. The decision maker is ultimately our planning commission, land use and housing committee, which is made up of city council and city council members will decide ultimately on the plan. Next.
What is an EIR?
Environmental impact report. So it's to assess the impact to the environment of the proposed land use and updated community plan. Yeah. Recent pop-up activities. Pop-up is we've been going to where people gather at recreation centers, you know, the Y, at parks and libraries. So we engaged in pop-ups, collecting feedback from community members. You can kind of see, I guess I'll just highlight Normal Heights. We were at Normal Heights, Kensington Library on January 19th, and then the Adams Recreation Center on March 2nd. And then the YMCA, I guess, which is close by, January 19th, and Kensington Park as well, January 18th of this year. So kind of spread out around this city. And then upcoming pop-ups, Orlando Street Fair is on April 14th. So we will be there gathering feedback. We were at the Lunar New Year Festival. It was a huge event. There were thousands of people there. So we were there for 2 days and we got a lot of great feedback from all age groups. We've also been hosting community office hours, just, you know, creating space for community members to be able to just you know, pop in and talk to us for, you know, 20-30 minutes. So we had one in Adams Recreation Center on February 13th, and then March 12th. So we've been hearing a lot about Ward Canyon Park and the dog park was one of the things I think we heard about, and there are a couple other feedbacks. Next, youth engagement is a huge part of this plan update. So we went to Man Middle School and then Clark Middle School. This was in February 29th and worked with two classes and we had a lunch session. And there's a custom design engagement activity for middle school kids. And this is in partnership with Cal Poly SLO students who were doing their community planning studio. And we also have been working with Cooper High School students with 3 classes, so about 100 kids. And we've had 4 kind of 90 minutes of interactive activities with them. And they're also doing interviews, you know, with the elders. We've seen a lot of changes in this community, and they'll be making traveling banners, but potentially be. So it's been fun working with the kids, high school students. And we'll be starting, to work with Crawford High School students, May 9th and 10th. So a similar approach. Next. In community planning groups, one of the major stakeholders and the citizens that attended. So again, we were here, or I was here on November 7th with the Normal Heights Planning Group before the launch of the plan update, and then today, I'm back, just informing you on all the happenings. I'll be going to Kensington Talmadge next week, or on the 15th. So that's another meeting I'll be presenting at next. Community-based organizations. So we've been interacting with Elkhorn Boulevard Business Improvement Association data annual report in January. So I was invited, so I went and presented, provided them an overview. And Crawford Community Collaborative is another kind of gathering of about a dozen community-based organizations. The city staff will be reaching out to various community-based organizations this week to start doing stakeholder kind of interviews. So Normal Heights, there's all kinds of community associations, business associations. So we'll be, reaching out to the folks that run and are very familiar with things happening in the community. We're also partnering with City Heights CDC. They'll be hosting 4 mini workshops. Really, they're more focused on underrepresented groups, right? A lot of Spanish speakers in the community, Vietnamese speakers, in other languages. So that will be kind of their focus. And then they'll be also doing some pop-ups. Next. Working group and other activities. So as part of the plan update, the city's convening a joint kind of Mid-City working group. Application was open to anyone that was interested that lived or worked in Mid-City. We received 72 applications, 64 of them were complete. A lot of them were just blank. So, and we anonymize these applicant info. So no names, blanked out the names and any information that was tied to a person. And we had our consultant go and looked at, demographic information and interest. And so they pre-selected 12 applicants, and we just got confirmation from everyone that they're willing to serve in the working group. So we'll be publicly announcing this working group membership hopefully by end of this week. We have to translate everything in Spanish, any documents. So I'm just waiting for the translations to be completed. And as part of the announcement, we'll have a working group protocol, membership, and then selection process, and a lot of the demographic information. So we're just trying to be very transparent with our process. We also have a first survey, just very quick 3-question survey. So far, we've gotten 537 online respondents, and then probably about 500 from our pop-up outreach. So the 1,200 people you were able to engage with your polling is actually pretty impressive for a neighborhood of 14,000 people as of 2022. So congrats on that. And I definitely want that input, the data, so I can kind of incorporate it into the plan update process. We'll also be introducing text-based engagement that's available 24/7 in 3 languages. At bus stops and by the libraries and playgrounds, anywhere people that gather. So just trying to make it easy for provide feedback on what can we improve with our community, what's working well, what needs to be improved, enhanced. Well, there's a lot. And workshops coming up in May. We'll have in-person and virtual, and then public engagement summary will be available in summertime. So we'll just summarize all this input we've been getting so far. Next. Technical studies. All right. So there's Misty Atlas. It's a community snapshot related to history and place, sustainability and climate resilience, land use, housing, jobs, mobility, and parks, public facilities, and open space. So this will be released in mid-May. There'll be a lot of charts, graphs, maps, pictures, and detailed mobility modal, multimodal mobility assessment. So this is existing conditions related to pedestrian bike transit facilities and traffic circulation. And we've been conducting traffic counts along our major transportation corridors. And then finally, historic context statement and survey. So this is a guide for evaluating historical resources, looking at history of built environment and themes and property types, and also incorporating all the Mid-City surveys from the past and all the recent studies related to historic districts. That's kind of the three next steps. How to keep updated, get involved. So you can visit the project website, sign up for updates, planmidcity.org, providing feedback to the Mid-City Atlas, which will be released in mid-May. You can also attend upcoming events, Orlando Street Fairs, the one on the books. But we will have workshops in person. May 18th is we're waiting for venue availability confirmation, but it'll be at one of the schools, middle schools or high school. And then first working group meeting in June, and there will also be a planning commission workshop in June, which is just to kind of introduce the planning commissioners on all the stuff we've been doing. So that's it for me. Any questions? Yeah, Jim. Or I guess
Thanks,
Jim.
thanks for the update and the information helpful. Have you been involved with previous community plan updates in San Diego?
I have, yeah.
Can you tell me, this is not a quiz. What issues are popping up currently in San Diego?
All right, first question. So I was the project manager for the Mira Mesa community plan update. We were able to complete that on time and budget. 4 years, it was adopted despite the global pandemic. So the big issues, how about this? This is the big issues we're hearing from the people living in the city. Homelessness comes up, especially with the students. Unaffordable housing and cost of living, right? Potholes, deferred infrastructure, and maintenance. Really, that's kind of the three most common things we're hearing. And then also like, lack of better parks, maintenance of our, existing parks, and then like rec centers, right? And then also expanding our libraries and other facilities. So those are some of the things that's relevant to the plan update that we're hearing about. Yeah.
Thank you. Emily.
Public safety too.
I wanted to ask, when you came to February, you talked about it being an addendum to blueprint, so now it's a full standalone EIR?
No, so it would be tearing off of the blueprint, San Diego, programmatic EIR. So yeah, the whole idea is that the update to the Mid-City community plan can just tear off this blueprint, San Diego, and the general plan amendments for the programming. Yeah.
So full EIR, but just here.
Yeah.
Got it, okay. And then I know you've also talked about you're waiting on money from the standing housing acceleration grant. Was and the last year you're like, it'll be coming in the list.
Okay, you're really paying attention.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's great. So how are we funding this plan update? We applied for 2 different grant funding. We received one from SANDAG for a smart growth incentive program. So that's the money we're using right now. It's $500,000 plus match. We also applied to housing acceleration program. It's called REAP 2.0. We received $650,000 from SANDAG via the state housing and community development. However, because of the state budget crisis or deficit, that grant funding has not been awarded now. They wanted to reduce it by 75%, which I've never experienced, where someone awarded a grant and then they've taken it back. So we won't know how much money is available until after the state budget is adopted. So June, July, yeah. So, yeah, less money from the grant funding potentially, but we'll still have money for general plan, maintenance fund, for the next year, so we'll keep moving along, yeah.
Sorry, and one more, I know you said assess your consultant for community engagement, but
Yeah.
also the CEQA consultant.
We don't have a CEQA consultant right now. I think maybe the only thing we would add to the existing conditions study would be a biological resource kind of study, looking at our canyons and our, multi-habitat hunting area and the parcels, correcting that right now. So, yeah, we may select an environmental consultant at that time, but we'll know more in like year and a half, 2 years, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not sure because of your lane, because I see that I'm wondering. Surrounding.
Utilities or power lines. Yeah, I have no idea. I know it's just delayed.
Yeah, we do have we have a working group.
Oh, there you
Yeah, so we're sticking around. We have an update a little later, but, or if you need to leave, I can. Yes, I also. Okay.
go.
Okay. No further questions? Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation and your time.
Yeah, and I'll come back again once the existing conditions reports out. This is what we're seeing trend wise. No, that's fine. And you can keep the presentation.
Oh, I should have copied it before I checked it.
Or I can send it.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. It's gonna take forever. Oh, it's probably because it's still open, that's why.
Still, yeah.
In the Slack, can I ask something else that I'm interested in? Impressive resume, I must say, loved it. Is there any plan for electric car infrastructure? I kind of see a problem. I have an electric car, I think it's great.
Yeah.
But if you don't have an off-street parking place, how are you to charge? And, you know, like I see in Bonds, they have a spot that is kind of expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they just yes or no? Are they thinking about that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. The Sustainability and Mobility Department, they're working on a citywide electric vehicle charging infrastructure on the city. So they've had an agreement with a third party that will install it without upfront cost of the city. The details, right? It's always the detail.
Yeah,
but yeah, there is a plan.
I travel a lot,
Yeah.
and you see Tesla superchargers in
Yeah.
parking lots, literally on the street, in Amsterdam, on the street, like a supercharger, park your car there.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how much it is, I'm not sure. Euros and euros.
Yeah.
They're thinking about it.
Yeah, there's a plan for it that they're gonna launch.
Next up is the environmental justice component of the general plan. And this shared screen here. For this one. I'm going to take us to the city website on the environmental justice component of the general plan. So the idea is that as the general plan is being built, they're going to make sure that it's inclusive of communities that are underserved. And they're looking at specific components which have to do with pollution, green space, access to markets and food markets to avoid food deserts, and public safety in terms of the housing, climate change resilience, like we've seen with the issues with the flooding. So these are the kinds of things that they're looking at. The question, I think, for Normal Heights is where do we sit in that? It's not that the city is going to put all the money there, but it is going to be an influencing factor on how budgets are distributed within the communities. So these are the 5 components that they've selected, which is the pollution and food and recreation areas. And then this map shows the overlay for the color coding of those areas and the how they ranked. I'm not sure this is going to render while I'm in Zoom, but we'll see. Well, this works much better when you're not running Zoom at the same time. So basically, we landed sort of in the middle zone, as you would imagine. It's no surprise the areas further south of us, when you get down into towards National City, Barrio Logan, those communities are underserved. They'll show more red. We're more in the orange, and then you start seeing green until you get into the neighborhoods further north that you would expect. I'll drop the URL into the chat as well for anybody who wants to go there right away. Get to. Okay, so that's sandiego.gov/planning/environmental-justice-element. And it's pretty easy to find it with just a Google search as well. So right now, the process of this is in the information gathering. So they're looking to get as much feedback, just like they were for the community plan. So they're shopping it around and doing surveys and having meetings in the community to get more information about that. I think in terms of our community, we're kind of on the edge of this. So to me, it says that we need to be very vocal in what we want for our community, because we are not excluded because we're not in one of the rich neighborhoods, but neither are we in one of the poor neighborhoods. So if we want our streets clean, we want our streets paved, we want safe neighborhoods, we gotta just speak up and let them make noise, because it's with the limited budgets, it's gonna be the squeaky wheels that get the oil. Yes, Ramy.
Hi there. I have a question about this. So in addition to addressing the communities that don't have the green space and don't have the things that make San Diego lovely, that help them with their health, Normal Heights, what I'm seeing is that we are losing that. Not just that we need more, we need to stop what we're losing. In just the past year, properties adjacent to me, developers cut down 8 decades-old trees that we have lost. We've lost the shade, we've lost the home for the animals, the food for the animals. We've lost what I believe makes San Diego beautiful with the greenery. So as part of this, are we going to be able to advocate to stop this kind of development, clear cutting and cement covering that's starting to happen here?
I hear you. I don't have a direct answer other than that. As far as the goals that we're about to go into, I know that the green space was both in the poll and expressed in the room was one of the top priorities. So I don't see why we can't have a subcommittee that would make a recommendation to the city to not clear cut. to retain except where diseased and replaced, if removed. So that our green, recreation and green space count doesn't decline rather than, increase.
Thank you.
And love to have you on the committee as well. So when we do form committees, the public is certainly welcome to join those committees. They're not restricted to just board members, yes. Next up is goals for the new cycle. And for that, I would like to propose that we have a committee that works on developing those goals offline. And do we have a motion to form that committee? Jim moves to form the committee. Emily seconds. And to a vote. Or, yeah, to a vote. That's unanimous. Okay. Then we need someone to be on the said committee. We have volunteers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next week, yeah. I like the good.
Yeah, okay.
This is goals.
Goals for the board. Yeah, actually draft goals for the board and then come to the next board meeting with, okay, here's our ideas, and then we can take a vote on or adjust in that conversation at our next meeting. Okay, and we have to be sure that we don't have a quorum on that subcommittee because of Brown Act rules. So, okay. What is the quorum? 4? We have to be 4 or less, right, on a subcommittee? Yeah. Okay. So. That's 1, 2, 3. Anybody else?
That's not the public.
Oh, yes, and the public. We have 2, okay, and they're not bored, so both, yes.
Depending on when they are, I mean, when are the meetings?
That's a good question.
Is there a chair?
Yeah. Let's,
This question was when and where.
when and where,
I suspect there'll be an email communication, but I don't know, and I'm not the chair.
that's true. I always look to our elders for advice.
Well, I suggest we appoint a chair, and the chair decides how people get together.
Okay.
Maybe on certain lists. If you're gathering goals, you can just brainstorm.
Sure. Then is there someone you want to share? Okay.
Sorry, isn't
And
the
then-
board member allowed to? Is it 4 minutes, or because we have 2?
No, we can't have more than 4 from the board, because then we would be colluding under the Brown Act.
But there might be 3, right?
There's 3. Yes. Okay.
Then I'm thinking we might send something out to everybody. Just,
You're the chair.
okay. Be on the lookout.
And then the format, I guess Zoom would work.
Yeah.
Unless you have a board member that is.
Thank you.
Okay.
And your emails on that list?
I can.
Yeah. Okay. Rainey, yes. Or is your hand still up?
No, I re-raised it as possible volunteer for the group as long as the times don't conflict with my set schedule. I'd be happy to help.
Okay.
That's not like they send it out.
Yeah, please add Rainey. And then I'm going to postpone the review of committees and membership to our next meeting. We'll portion that out because those committees will be reformulated based on the goals. And next up is reports and updates, city, county, and state government agencies. The president, Sarah, already did her presentation. Do we have representation from the mayor's office? And county supervisor. Senator Atkins. But we have. Oh, Tony Duran. You unmute, we can give you the floor.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. So as we know, tax season is here. If you are a low wage earner, or if you know somebody that is, especially, I know a lot of times senior citizens are considered lower wage earners. If your income is less than $39,950, you can qualify for Cal EITC. And those tax credits range anywhere between $285 to $3,529, all depending on your income and family size. So CalEITCforme.org is a good place to go and check to see if you qualify. Also, VITA, the VITA program provides free basic tax return preparation for low and moderate income taxpayers. And that's through April 15th. You can call 211 to make an appointment. And then starting tomorrow, April 3rd through the 29th, excuse me, the registration portal for applications will be open for the new round, which is $220 million that's allocated. So this new round for the California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program. This is for first-time home buyers. And right now the senator has two of her priority bills that she's looking at around healthcare. There is SB 1213, and that would raise the threshold for the Every Woman Counts program and the breast and cervical cancer treatment program from 200% to 300% of the federal poverty level. That would allow more people to access life-saving cancer screenings and treatments. And I gotta say, that's really important to me. I actually have several friends right now that have cervical, ovarian, and breast cancer. So making sure that more women, more bodies have access to this care is really important. And then SB 1428, another healthcare bill that would help prevent gaps in health insurance coverage by allowing individuals with qualifying life events to sign up for a new health insurance plan 60 days before or 60 days after that triggering event. So those are two of her priority bills that she's carrying right now. And as always, if you have any state-related questions or issues, you can contact me through my email or phone. I'll put this in the chat, as well as links to the programs I talked about. And I'm sure Paul can share that out to all of you who are there inside the building. And that is all I have for you tonight.
Thank you. I'm going to put the chat on the screen so we can all see it in the room. Yes. Okay. So Tony, if you chat, it'll be visible. There it is. So we have it on the screen. Thank you.
Well, what she does, I have a question.
Oh, Francis has a question for you.
She mentioned April 15th as the final deadline, but I have heard that, I don't know, she doesn't, with San Diego County resident, the tax filing deadline can be delayed again here because of the weather until mid-June.
Oh.
I don't know if she's aware of that or.
Well, so the VITA program, they're saying that they're doing that program through April 15th. And there are areas within San Diego County that were affected by the flooding where your filing deadline is later than that. But for that specific program, right now they're saying April 15th is the last day that they're able to help lower income folks file.
Okay.
If that clarifies.
Any other questions? Okay. Chris, are you on the line for Assembly Ward's office?
Yes, good evening. I am here, Christopher Griss, Field Group for Assembly Member Ward's office. Pardon me, but I do not have my camera available. Hope that's okay. First of all, Tony, thank you for sharing all those great state resources. You took a lot of them from my report, so I will keep it brief and just provide an update on what the Assembly Member has been doing so far this year. We had a pretty busy start of the year with several community events happening in district and both online. First off, we had an affordable housing webinar where we talked about local resources on how to find affordable housing and what the state is doing to build more affordable housing. We also hosted a senior resources and scam stoppers webinar, which talked about some resources for our senior population, again, including housing, meals, and then also talked about some scams to avoid when being online. Those both are on our website. If you would like to go see them, we have them recorded and on our website. Also, Assemblymember Ward has finished his legislative package and has introduced, and it can be found on our website. One of the bills introduced is AB 1635, which has gathered some attention. It relates to the future of the Hillcrest DMV site. AB 1635 modifies relating to the DMV facility located in the Hillcrest neighborhood in Normal Street in the city of San Diego to ensure that it's being used for the development of affordable housing and maximize redevelopment potential on the site. The Assembly member hosted a town hall on March 27th at the LGBT Center, where we received community input on what the community wants to see for the site. Some input received from residents includes making sure that the new development has energy is compatible with the upcoming Normal Street Promenade and the retention of the Hillcrest Farmers Market, that the sign does not impede on the public right of way. Some have even brought up restrooms as an idea, more affordable housing, senior center, parking, and even a consideration for the LGBTQ plus district / arts and culture campus. So this is all great input that we've been receiving from the community. We're going to continue to take input all up until April. And then around May, we want to start working out some of the details with the governor's office to be able to send it over to the Senate. So if you have any ideas or any comments you would like to propose for this bill, again, relating to the Hillcrest DMV, please feel free to reach out. Another bill that the Assembly member is working on is AB 1999, which is the ratepayer fixed charge. This bill will repeal a mandate for the Public Utilities Commission to create an income-based fixed charge fee to be paid for by residential ratepayers. And I have more information again on that bill. I can provide the fact sheet for anybody that is interested. I invite you to check out our legislative package online and provide feedback on any of the many bills that we have. I will put my contact information on the chat, and you can reach out via email or call our office again on ideas for bills, or just if you have any, if you need assistance with a state department. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have one question as regards to AB 1635. Do you know if
Yes.
the Hillcrest DMV project would be done under San Diego's Complete Communities program?
I'm not entirely sure if it's, I know that in part of the bill, it does say part of the language is to check with the local planning group to make sure that it is reflective of what is being what has been put in the planning group. I would have to confirm about the planning complete communities aspect, but more than happy to give you an answer.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'll send you an email related to that, because there are some differences in how affordable housing is calculated between the state requirement and the city requirement.
Okay, thank you. Would love that feedback.
Okay. Any questions from the room? Okay. Rainey.
Hi, yes, Christopher, I put in a request through your website, but didn't receive any kind of notification that it went through. So what I'm looking for is every year around election season, I go and do my research as all citizens should. The problem is every year, all of the Q&As and the editorials and everything in newspapers regarding the propositions and the candidates, all of that is hidden behind this you must subscribe blockage. Can we please have a state bill introduced that important election information like that is not hidden behind subscription services. It doesn't make sense for me to get 30 new subscriptions to 30 different newspapers around the state just because I want to be an informed voter.
Yeah, thank you for that, Rami. I'm sorry that we didn't get back to you. I will put my email in the chat, and we are always welcoming legislative ideas, and we send them over to a capital team where they figure out if it's feasible for this year, maybe next year, or give you a response on that. So I will put my my email in the chat, and if you can just either forward it over, I'm more than happy to look into that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Next up is Sarah Jacob, the presence. And then let's move to chair report. Community Planners Committee went over the environmental justice. They had a presentation on environmental justice. So that's basically what I just showed you. And then the ad hoc subcommittee for submitting a grand jury request. That is now has a, I would say a third draft. And hope to have it completed by the end of the month for submission back to the CPC for review and approval. Community group updates, Adams Avenue, Scott's not here, you spoke for him earlier.
Just remind you that the on-street Adams Avenue parking meter process is started. May take a couple of years. I'm sure they'll bring it here.
Okay. Alcohol business. Gary's not here. Normal Heights Community Association.
Yeah, we've got events planned out for the rest of the month. We've got kind of every other month, more or less, a mixer at different locations on Adams Ave and 30th Street. Thanks for those for attending the last one. And then the last thing I'll plug is Earth Day is coming up. It's this month. So we are partnering with I Love a Clean San Diego. So the cleanup on Saturday, April 20th from 9 to noon. And it will be around Ward Canyon Park. So it'll be the park itself and then also the surrounding areas. So if you just want to come out for an hour, please join us, sign up by going to iloveacleansandiego.com. We'll also have a link on our website.
Thanks. Adams Community Recreation Advisory Group, Nancy.
Yeah, we had the dedication for the mural on the building. With a big turnout. They released 50 butterflies. Now blue. And working for the still board members for that. Yeah, the board, and we are meeting for the 4th Tuesday of the month.
Nancy, you mentioned a couple months ago about donations for the butterfly mural. Has that finished or is it still donations needed?
I think they have to hold that one. I think we raised $50,000 for that. We didn't have that. Or
You have extra money. We could always accept it. That's all.
How much did that have you cost?
Huh?
How much did that have you cost?
50 seconds.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And they had people come out to install it and everything, build holes. 11 panels on that butterfly. 3 to 4 hours. To do it all.
Yes.
Say something about the installation and the unveiling, and it's really a beautiful thing. It's beautifully crafted. It's really care that went into making it, and it's also part of now it's part of the city of San Diego art collection. So some future time it could be if necessary. somewhere else. It's a very beautiful, and I just wanted to mention one little detail. I happen to know the artist. And there's one of the butterfly wings, there's a, one of the eyes, it's like a little globe. And if you look at it very carefully, you see that there's North and Central America. And if you look at the bottom left corner of North America, you see that there's a tiny gold dot. And that goes on to San Diego. Well, that's the kind of little love that went into this project. And the final thing, the artists, their husband said that they $50,000 was a lot of money, but they calculated that they made $1 on this project. So.
Believe it.
One of the butterflies has eyes, and it's an eye of well.
Standing committees, mid-city communities plan update committee, are we scratching them?
So yeah, I wanted to talk to that. I think it's going back again.
Yeah, so the official city sanctioned working group, planning group. Alex said is valid for this planning. But the side working group, I'll call it joint mid cities, wanted to meet again in April, but I thought we were shutting that down. So yeah, I'm planning on attending that April meeting, and next month I can update on kind of what's happening, since right now there's 2 bodies. So
Sure.
we'll find out.
Okay,
But yeah, it's a little funky at the moment.
very normal heights.
There you go.
Historic property review, yeah.
Yeah, the latest posting was April 2nd, there was nothing. April 1st, nothing. Went back into March, there was just one of the, 34, Pelton. Not worthy of any discussion. Just a forlorn looking nondescript.
Okay. I guess we can skip nominating committee.
You're down.
And utility undergrounding.
Yes, so in regards to utility undergrounding, I'll just give a brief overview of kind of the whole situation. Apologies to people who are here every month, but since I know you asked a question about it, I'll give the full rundown. So essentially, this SCG&E is planning to underground all electrical lines in the city by someday. And they're starting north of Adams, and they've broken the area north of Adams in Normal Heights into 4 blocks. They have all these funky names. They are starting with the first block, which is called block 3DD. I have a couple maps. I printed out a couple copies, or I can kind of email it out. So it's pretty much the northeast corner of Normal Heights. That is the only corner at this point that's fully funded, construction documents done. Crews will be out on the ground. They're starting operations this summer. Kind of that's in this one first area. Then from there, you know, they got to deal with funding, designing, bidding, all that stuff. So all these other ones north of Adams are all planned in the pipeline, but pretty much city staff has said that they won't be able to give us an accurate timeline until they're about a year or 2 out, because they just are dealing with all that. So depending on where you're located, if you're in block 3DD, it's coming soon. Everywhere else, it'll be a little longer, but at least slated, because as of right now, there's absolutely no timeline for anything. So, in addition to that, it's installation of new streetlights. So it'll be FPG undergrounding all the lines, and then also putting in new streetlights. And Jim, to answer your question from last month, the city confirmed that they will be putting in the conduits for the mid-block lighting, and that could be used for either the standard streetlights or the decorative apron lights. So either way, you've got the conduit ready to go.
Excellent. That's good news.
Yeah, so the next step is tied into this whole process is, you know, does the community want decorative 8-1 lights? You know, they go beyond just, the city will install just regular old, you know, arm light up the street situations, over lights. But the community has expressed interest in the past to have the 8-1 lights at mid-block crossings. We have them along Adams Avenue. They're in Kensington, they're in Point Loma, you know, just provides a little more character for the area. Oh yeah,
Sorry for those folks in the room, lighting technology, are you talking about like the ones that are sort of like in the middle of the intersection, like what I seen for them?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good question. They'll look like the ones in the middle, but these would be on, like, in the sidewalk. Yeah, yeah, so mid-block, just in the middle of the street, because at intersections, they have to have the like more industrial looking ones for like lighting safety.
Right.
So these ones would be kind of more decorative, but they would be on the sidewalk, not in the middle. So, yeah. But just the look of like, I don't know, kind of the old timey.
Yeah, Acorn is actually talking with us.
Right, I know, I didn't know it either, but yeah, it makes sense. So, and that would include the formation of a maintenance. Yes, question?
In the past, the Acorn lights were done with assessment districts.
Yeah.
Will they be, assessment district, or will, it be a percentage, or will the people, requesting the old timey look be paying for it?
Yes to all of the above. So in order to pay for Acorn lighting, that would be through a maintenance assessment district, also known as MAD. So essentially now that SCG is moving forward with block 3DD, we are also going to concurrently start moving forward with seeing the community's interest in forming a MAD. There was a survey done in 2019 of this area that was in support of it. But due to the age of that survey, the city has said that we will need to basically start from scratch. So that will start with a survey of the property owners to kind of gauge interest in the Acorn lights, because the property owners within block 3DB would be paying an additional fee on their taxes to compensate for that cost fee.
Request for definition of term. MAD, the M stands for maintenance. Does that mean it will be a monthly charge?
So it's an annual assessment that's added to your property tax,
Okay.
but that includes installation and maintenance of the lights.
Is it percentage or,
It's,
No, sorry. Oh, no, I'm just going, I think back in 2019, when it was first was going to happen. The figure that they kind of threw out, that for each property would be in about $500. And then maybe 300 would be paid in the first year, and then 100 would be the following year, and then after that, it would go down. And
Yeah. Oh, no, thanks, Francis. So we'll kind of have more information as we actually move forward with the MAD formation, because there's a lot of technical studies, economic, all that. So we don't have exact figures at this point. It's kind of our next step, but essentially it would be, they take the total cost of the improvements and like what they estimate to be annual maintenance and divide the amongst the others. So that's how it's good.
I'd be particularly interested if you could answer this for me, if the city would be picking up any part of that,
So.
or what part, you know?
Yeah, so that's kind of the purpose of the MAD is they won't pick up the cost of the Acorn light, so it really is,
Oh, so
that's
you
why
already
it's. Yeah.
I think they could have, like, what they will do is in the underground. If they put what's the correct term?
Overlights.
No, I'm thinking of
Oh, like the contrast.
possibility of a mesh.
Yes.
For the in block.
Yes.
It's like infinitely cheaper, and that would be one in the city, and would be only affordable. If it's done at the time you need them. You would go back when it's done, try to put it into the city, right? It would be, absolutely wasteful. So choose. Is that?
Just a little correction, you said undergrounding of the electric vehicle, we're gonna include cable, right?
Oh, yes,
All the
yeah, I think
other
that's
energy
CPDM, so I'm focused on the electricity, yes.
And the assessment district, Francis is absolutely correct. You guys and we were successful in getting SDG into the city to do the wiring and additional stub out in case we can come up with a maintenance assessment district to put in additional lighting mid-block. And it would be either Acorn or the Cobra or Candles, whatever the maintenance assistant wants. They are not going to put in any additional unless we come up with a maintenance assessment.
Yes.
And that'll be up to the community members, property owners in that block.
In that.
Yes,
block.
only in block three,
Right.
so we'll have to go through this for every block,
And the other ones are fighting several years behind.
more than 2 years out. Yeah.
But, I think they are starting to, I would ask Jim, because you and I both live in 3GD.
Yeah.
And they have been to my house to start talking about where they're gonna actually make the connection. So something, I mean, they're saying 2 years, so that's what I'm. 2 years.
It's a very complicated process. I had to move my my service used to come from the alley, and I had to move it to the front. Because the service is gonna come from the street, not the alley. And I want to congratulate you too for bird dogging.
Get all of together, like, he knows how to negotiate with them. I don't.
I don't know how to run. March of 2025 is when boots on the ground construction. Undergrounding starts. And I think you can rely on that. Yes.
And when you said that, when they did the study in 2019, that, the acorn light thing didn't register with the, people, you know, homeowners and stuff, they didn't want to go with the assessment.
I'm sorry, we did want to go with.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say, I remember that people were happy, they didn't want to go.
Yes.
I think what my recollection, and I didn't bring the final with me, but it was something like 62% of people, surveyed back then, voted for a mixture of decorative lights and coda lights. We have to have something, a mixture. I think there were different options. We went all acorn lights, we went just coda lights, we did a mixture, and that was the majority of people said, yes, I want a mixture.
But didn't the city say that they had to have the cobra lights at the intersection?
That's where I'm a little confused. I think they do, yeah.
That's what I thought. I remember that.
Yeah.
The city said it didn't matter about the maintenance districts or whatever. They had to have the cobra lights at the intersection.
Because apparently street lights are not for lighting sidewalks, they're for lighting streets.
I'm gonna start one part that's hopefully an easy one. You said March 2025, the process starts, but then you said something is starting this summer. Yeah, sorry, I got confused. I thought, yeah, I went back to my notes, March of 2025, is that correct? Yeah. And March of 2025 is the start date for that first corner that you. Yes, and then your. Yeah, got it, okay, thank you. And that's it. I printed a couple maps of where the street lights will go, if anyone's interested. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Did you get any response from the city or SPG&E about the fact that they are not gonna take the poles out of the alley?
I don't think I've asked about poles in the alley. What would your question be? I can definitely get you.
Well, one of the things that was printed in the newspaper was the fact that, yes, because the alleys were some sort of special thing, that the poles would not be removed from the alley.
Oh, I see, because they're not like in public right of way or something.
Yeah. And the fire department came back and said, well, the alleys aren't 16 feet and we're supposed to have 16 feet and the poles gotta go. And the city said, no, we're not gonna take the poles out of the alley.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely ask. Yeah, I can get back to you on that one.
Okay, thanks. Next up, the community garden update. The community garden will not be able to be put in the Cherokee street address. The use of the right of way is up to the owner of the parcel, and they said no. So I'm currently working with Parks and Rec. Your crew actually, and we're gonna try to merge efforts and maybe target Ward Canyon and put the community garden in advance of the Caltrans city's work. Since
Good luck.
Yeah, or, we're also looking at the empty lot across from Subway on Adams Avenue. And a couple of other locations, but, working with the city on what land is available. It's pretty tight here.
I got a lot.
That occurred to me. I think Franny brought it up, the city should buy it.
The city should either buy it or take these people out and hang them.
I
They are a nuisance to the whole city.
I did not even hear that. Okay, next is, I think we can skip tree replacements and then move to traffic task force.
I think at the last month meeting, things mentioned, and so I checked on it, and yes, it definitely has, been added to the budget priorities memo. The crosswalk. And also the crosswalk at Adams and 33rd Street. And if they do get funded, assuming the budget comes in good, they should also have the flashers like they have. What is it, 33rd? Yeah, so hopefully that gets done. That's for that.
Can we track the work for the two ADU ramps that are missing? There's a intersection that's on, I believe it's Collier. Was it on? I have records of that. I'll send it over, but we have two intersections that are missing the ADA ramps. One's, I think, all four, and the other one is just south of Maddie and across the alleyway. And those spots don't have any ramps. I think one of them, the one that's north of Adams, is on the CIP list. But they didn't have anything for the one that's south of.
Yeah, the one north of Adams is like, I think it's like Arthur and Mansfield, maybe.
Yeah, that's the one.
And yeah, that's on the unfunded needs list. And I haven't checked to see if East Mountain View one has been put on unfunded needs list yet. That's where it's going to end up.
Okay.
They was talking about one for the official one instead of that. It should be done, you know, it shouldn't be out. For it, so there should be more part of it.
Right.
Any ADA.
I'll forward you the email thread because you may not have been on that one.
Yeah, I was on it.
Okay.
And quick note on the traffic,
Yeah.
if I may.
Yes.
Some communities, in order to make pedestrian crossings at unsignalized intersections more safe and easier to accommodate the pedestrians, have put up at each corner receptacles for flags. So the pedestrian would pick up a flag and hold it out and thereby get the pedestrian motorist to stop holding it. On April 1st, there was a recommendation circulated that instead of flags, there would be a receptacle box with bricks.
Yeah.
And a pedestrian could pick up a brick and hold it out as they walk across the intersection and thereby get compliance from the motorist. I'm not recommending either.
But if a basket of bricks were to show up.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, in Australia, there's a city that actually practices that.
Oh.
I saw pictures of the little station.
Yeah, flags exist. I don't know about the bricks.
Yeah, that's flag, yeah.
My bar was in April 1st.
I could have been. Gullible.
But do we have a move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.